She was my gal, my only gal, and they called her Sadie Brown. She was my gal, oh what a pal. Then the sky came tumbling down, and that sweet little miss, oh what a dish. And they called her Sadie Brown. Oh Sadie, my little lady, and they called her Sadie Brown. Oh Sadie, my little lady, my little lady, my little lady. I went out last night to make a little round. I met a little Sadie and I shot her down. The sky turned black and the rain fell round when I shot the gal called Sadie Brown. Sadie Brown. And that sweet little miss, oh what a dish. And they called her Sadie Brown. Oh Sadie, my little lady, and they called her Sadie Brown. Oh Sadie, my little lady, my little lady, my little lady. Stepped the law and they looked around. They said, ain't your name Willie Brown? Willie Brown. He shot it down, old Willie Brown, and the sky came tumbling down. And that sweet little miss, oh what a dish. And they called her Sadie Brown. Oh Sadie, my little lady, and they called her Sadie Brown. Oh Sadie, my little lady, my little lady, my little lady. She was my gal, oh what a pal. And the sky came tumbling down. Oh Sadie, my little lady, and they called her Sadie Brown. She was my gal.
The Story of Our Little Lady, Sadie Brown, and Willie Lee-roy Brown by Bill Buckles. The story of Willie Lee Brown is not the biography of a single man, but the evolution of an American ghost. He is a character born in the shadow of the Appalachians, refined in the Delta mud, and eventually electrified on the stage of Folsom Prison. To understand him, we have to look at how a simple bad man ballad transformed into a high-stakes narrative of drug-fueled tragedy and cold-blooded consequence. The birth of a bad man. In the earliest versions of this tale, dating back to the late 19th century, the protagonist wasn't Willie Lee. He was simply Lee Brown. In the traditional folk song Little Sadie, the story is stark and devoid of the chemical chaos we associate with the modern version. Lee Brown is a man who commits a senseless act of violence, shooting a woman named Sadie, and then attempts to outrun his shadow. He doesn't go to Mexico. He simply runs until he gets tired and eventually finds himself back home, where the law is waiting. In these early iterations, Lee Brown is a cautionary figure. There is no bravado in his capture, only the cold reality of the 44 days he spends in the county jail before a judge sentences him to the penitentiary. He represents the classic folk villain, a man whose impulse leads to an immediate and unglamorous downfall. He is a cautionary tale for a rural society, a ghost story told over banjos and fiddles to remind the listener that the long arm of the law eventually finds every runner. The blues in the name. As the song migrated into the repertoire of blues musicians and Western swing bands, the identity of the villain began to blur with the legends of the time. The name, Willie Brown, carried a heavy weight in the musical landscape of the 1930s. The real-life Willie Brown was a titan of the Delta blues, a man whose guitar work anchored the recordings of Son House and Charlie Patton. While the real Willie Brown wasn't a murderer, his name became synonymous with the wandering, mysterious lifestyle of the bluesman, a figure who lived on the fringes of polite society. By the time the song reached the hands of T.J. Red Arnold in 1947, the character had been rechristened as Willie Lee. This version introduced a crucial new element, the shot of cocaine. Suddenly, the violence wasn't just a dark impulse, it was a chemically induced hallucination. Willie Lee became a more complex figure, a man losing his grip on reality. The narrative shifted from a simple crime story to a descent into madness, where the protagonist wakes up the next morning with a blue frame around his soul, realizing the horror of what he has done under the influence. The outlaw icon. When Johnny Cash stepped onto the stage at Folsom Prison in 1968, he didn't just sing about Willie Lee, he inhabited him. Cash's Cocaine Blues took the skeleton of Little Sadie and turned it into a cinematic anthem of defiance and regret. Here, Willie Lee is given a moment of dark wit. When the sheriff catches him in Juarez and calls him by his real name, Willie Lee's response is iconic. He realizes the game is up, but he doesn't cower. He faces his 99-year sentence with the grim stoicism of a true outlaw. In this final evolution, Willie Lee Brown becomes a hero of sorts, not because his actions are righteous, but because his story is raw and human. He represents the part of the human psyche that wants to run, the part that fails, and the part that has to look the judge in the eye and take the big 99. He transformed from a nameless face in a mountain ballad into a symbol of the American anti-hero, a man whose name will forever be shouted back by crowds of people who, for 3 minutes at a time, want to feel what it's like to be the dirty hack who lived on the edge. The sunny side of Sadie Brown. While the dark road of Willie Lee Brown led to prison cells and cocaine blues, the melody of Little Sadie took an unexpected, sunnier detour into the world of early country and western swing. This version stripped away the pistol and the penitentiary, proving that in folk music, a tune is a vessel that can carry either a tragedy or a love letter depending on who is holding the pen. When Jimmie Rodgers, the father of country music, got hold of the melody, he didn't see a crime scene, he saw a sweetheart. The Blue Yodeler's transformation. In 1928, Jimmie Rodgers recorded My Little Lady, a song that breathed the same melodic air as the Little Sadie ballads circulating through the South. However, Rodgers performed a feat of lyrical alchemy. He took the haunting minor key structures of the murder ballad and infused them with his trademark blue yodel and a sense of playful devotion. The Little Sadie, who was once running for her life, was replaced by a little lady who was the object of a rambling man's affection. For Rodgers, the song wasn't about a man fleeing the law, but a man traveling the rails and dreaming of the girl he left behind. The heavy, rhythmic drive of the song shifted from a frantic pace of a fugitive to the steady, rolling gait of a train. By changing the context from a domestic shooting to a sentimental longing, Rodgers showed how the high lonesome sound of Appalachia could be pivotally rebranded for a national audience hungry for the persona of the charming, wandering troubadour. The folk revival and the rambler. This lighter, more melodic branch of the song's family tree found a second life decades later during the folk revival of the 1950s and 60s. Artists like Ramblin' Jack Elliott, who served as a bridge between the Dust Bowl era of Woody Guthrie and the urban folk scene of Greenwich Village, took Rodgers' My Little Lady and stripped it back to its acoustic roots. In Elliott's hands, the song became a piece of rhythmic finger-picking mastery, blending the sophistication of Western swing with the grit of a traveling busker. When Jack Elliott performed the song, he wasn't just singing a cover, he was preserving a specific lineage of American storytelling. He kept the yodel of Jimmie Rodgers alive, but he delivered it with a conversational, winking style that made the listener forget the melody's darker origins. This version of the story represents the happy fork in the road, a moment where the folk process decided that instead of a funeral, the tune deserved a dance. It reminds us that Willie Brown's shadow only looms where the songwriter chooses to cast it. In Search of Little Sadie. The narrative of the bad man does not end in the jailhouse. It bleeds into the high art cynicism of the folk revival and eventually into the pop charts of the 1970s. As the decades passed, the ghost of Willie Lee Brown fractured into different personas, some more polished, others more abstract, proving that the bad man archetype is a mirror that every generation looks into to see its own reflection of rebellion and ruin. The Dylan rebirth and the grim tradition. In 1970, Bob Dylan revisited the source material with his own rendition of Little Sadie on the Self-Portrait album. Dylan's version stripped away the cinematic polish of the Johnny Cash era and returned the song to its eerie, repetitive folk roots. By choosing to record it twice, once as Little Sadie and again as In Search of Little Sadie, Dylan highlighted the inherent instability of folk music. In his hands, the narrator is a frantic, stuttering figure, and the crime feels less like a legend and more like a cold, historical fact reported from a distance. Dylan's interpretation serves as a bridge between the 19th century ballad and the modern psychological thriller. He doesn't try to make the protagonist a hero or a cool outlaw. He leaves him as a dirty hack caught in the gears of a merciless fate. This version reminds the listener that before the song was a stage anthem, it was a ghost story told in the dark, where the name of the killer mattered less than the cold chill of the wind blowing through the pines as he ran. From the infirmary to the top of the charts. The DNA of this story also intertwines with the St. James Infirmary Blues, a song that shares the same DNA of vice, vanity, and the heavy price of a fast life. While Little Sadie focuses on the chase and the capture, St. James Infirmary focuses on the aftermath, the cold marble slab and the funeral of the woman stretched out on a long white table. Both songs exist in a shared universe where the bad man or the gambler must eventually face the silence of the morgue or the iron bars of the cell. They are two sides of the same coin, exploring the tragic intersection of love, violence, and the morgue's fluorescent hum. This lineage eventually culminated in one of the most famous bad man songs of the 20th century, Jim Croce's Bad, Bad Leroy Brown. Though the setting moved from the rural South to the south side of Chicago, and the cocaine was replaced by a .32 gun in his pocket for fun, the spirit remains identical. Leroy Brown is the modern urban descendant of Willie Lee. He is the king of the whole damn town, until he meets a man who is meaner than a junkyard dog. Just like his folk ancestors, Leroy's bravado eventually meets its match, proving that whether his name is Lee, Willie, or Leroy, the American bad man is always destined for a fall.
I had a gal, oh what a gal, and her name was Sadie Brown. I took her out to ride about down on the old porch swing, and that little miss would steal a kiss as softly. To her I would say, Sadie, my little lady, won't you come and be my bride? Sadie, my little lady, I need you by my side. We'll be married in June, have a long honeymoon, then settle down for life. Oh, Sadie, my little lady, oh, won't you come and be my ball and chain? We'll be married in June, have a long honeymoon, then settle down for life. Oh, Sadie, my little lady, won't you come and be my ball and chain?
She was my gal, my only gall, and they called her Sadie Brown. She was my gal, oh what a pal. Then the sky came tumbling down, and that sweet little miss, oh what a dish. And they called her Sadie Brown. Oh Sadie, my little lady, and they call her Sadie Brown. I went out last night to make a little round. I met a little Sadie and I shot her down. The sky turned black and the rain fell round when I shot the gal called Sadie Brown. Sadie Brown. And that sweet little miss, oh what a dish. And they called her Sadie Brown. Oh Sadie, my little lady, and they called her Sadie Brown. Well, up stepped the law and they looked around. They said, ain't your name Willie Brown? Willie Brown. He shot her down, old Willie Brown, and the sky came tumbling down. And that sweet little miss, oh what a dish. And they called her Sadie Brown. Oh Sadie, my little lady, and they called her Sadie Brown. She was my gal, oh what a pal, and the sky came tumbling down. Oh Sadie, my little lady, and they called her Sadie Brown. She was my gal, oh what a pal, and the sky came tumbling down.